tonight, the President of the United States, by social media post, directed federal investigations into private American citizens. Now, there's at least three people at this table who've served in presidential administrations. The George W. Bush administration, the Biden administration. I was in the first Trump administration and the Bush administration. Did any of those presidents ever order federal investigations into private American citizens? You don't need to answer the question because the answer is no. Since then, the president has issued those like hamburgers at a McDonald's.
We've got another panel discussion for you. I'm going to play the whole thing and give my comments.
Yeah, let's get right to what America is talking about, a politicized Justice Department in a whole new way. After years of accusing the Department of Justice of selective investigations of him and his supporters, President Trump again is very publicly, very candidly ordering his attorney general to go after his political enemies, Democrats. In a Truth Social post, the president asked Pam Bondi to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, and all of J.P. Morgan Chase. And minutes later, the attorney general, Pam Bondi, basically obliged. I mean, it was just a few hours later, she announced that the Southern District of New York will take up the lead and take on the case. It is quite a change, considering just 3 months ago, the Justice Department announced that there was no client list and essentially case closed, and disclosing any more files would not be, quote, appropriate or warranted. Tonight, Trump was asked about his name appearing in the latest batch of Epstein emails. Listen to this.
What did Jeffrey Epstein mean in his emails when he said you knew about the girls?
I know nothing about that. They would have announced that a long time ago.
And tonight, Reid Hoffman is responding to Trump's call to investigate the LinkedIn founder, posting on X that he wants the complete release of the Epstein files and that he refuses to, quote, bend the knee to Donald Trump and his slanderous lies. He accused the president's call to a call to start an investigation of being a ploy to avoid releasing any more information. So where does that leave us? First and foremost, Stacey, you are someone who knows a courtroom very well, and you know Donald Trump as well. You're a former apprentice contestant and a criminal defense attorney. What do you see in this call now from president to attorney general?
This is not a retribution, a typical Trump retribution. This is a diabolical chess move. Brilliant outcome for Trump, I predict, because what's going to happen is Pam Bondi has just agreed to refer the case to the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office. Once they receive the case, they're going to declare it a government investigation, and we're done. No one can get that file, not even Congress. They're going to claim that we have to protect the witnesses, we have to protect the integrity of the investigation, we have to protect whatever evidence is in the files. We cannot release this to the public or anybody else. And Donald Trump just got his Trump card from doing this. Brilliant and scary.
What, Betsy?
I'm for transparency. I think all the files should be released. But let me be clear. I know from personal experience that Donald Trump has never had a taste for inappropriately young girls. In the 1990s, when I was lieutenant governor, Donald Trump and I double dated. I was dating my future husband, Wilbur Ross. He was dating his future wife, Marla Maples. We called her Peaches. We would go to the fights in Atlantic City. We would go out to nightclubs, plenty of hot spots. And I never saw Donald Trump behave inappropriately with anybody young like that. So I think that all of those records should be just released. Everybody wants that. His base wants it.
Which leads
with older people.
Which leads to the question
he
of
never behaved inappropriately around me with older people.
Ask Eugene Carroll how
if
she
there
feels
is
about
nothing there, then why not release it?
But,
so what you're laying out, Stacey, is really interesting. This is different than just go at you come at me. I need to deflect. I'm going to tell you guys to do this. This, you think, is actually quite different and quite so not a 180, a left turn or something, Jamal.
Yeah, here's the thing about communications. I've been in this for a long time. If you've got a simple story to tell, usually tell it very quickly. The fact that the Trump administration, the Department of Justice has been holding on to this information, not releasing it, not putting it out there, tells you right there they've got something they don't want people to know. They're going through great, extraordinary lengths not to tell people what happened with Jeffrey Epstein and to release this information. I think it's time for the country to just get the data dump. Let's see what's in there. and then we can all sort it out. And if Donald Trump didn't do anything, we'll move on.
What
links did the previous administration go to tell the American people what happened with Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know. They prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell.
What links did they go to release the? You said you want transparency. What links did they go to?
Scott, it's my understanding.
Zero.
As of January, SDNY was still investigating the case, and the reports are that they were investigating potential co-conspirators. And then the administration sent 20 people to get the files from SDNY. Then what did they do? They did a control F, looked for Trump's name, and then in July they said, case is over, case closed. Case is closed. But wait, the case is back open tonight. Is that a coincidence, or does it have to do with Trump being
Let's be clear. The Democrats want to use this to sabotage Trump's second administration, just like they used Russia in the first Trump.
This is so
There's a way for it to be.
This is so not a Democratic issue. There are 1,000.
Then how come three Democrats in the House Wednesday?
You got to take it away from Democrats. There are 1,000 victims out there who want some kind of justice from a dead man, okay? Who didn't get a trial because there's a dead man involved.
But Trump was not their
Wait a minute.
abuser.
There's an entire government file with hundreds of thousands of pages of documents. The man is dead. Why can't these women
I said
have the
I believe
file?
in total transparency.
You're sitting talking about what Trump was doing in the 1980s or 20s or
look
whatever
at what the Democrats in the House
It's not
did
relevant.
Wednesday.
It's not relevant.
Stacey, what they did Wednesday is very relevant. They tried to get all the headlines Wednesday by taking 3 emails out of 23,000 and leaking them to the press and suggesting that somehow
a lot more were leaked by that were unflattering for other people, including Larry Summers.
So one thing though, I don't want us to overlook tonight is what Kate opened with, which is the thing Stacey said was a chess move, which is tonight the president of the United States, by social media post, directed federal investigations into private American citizens. Now, there's at least 3 people at this table who've served in presidential administrations. The George W. Bush administration, the Biden administration. I was in the first Trump administration and the Bush administration. Did any of those presidents ever order federal investigations into private American citizens? You don't need to answer the question because the answer is no. That's never happened in the history of this country in 249 years until April 9th of this year. What happened on April 9th of this year, the President of the United States issued an investigative order into me, the first American citizen ever to have an EO to investigate them for First Amendment protected speech. Since then, the President has issued those like hamburgers at a McDonald's.
Pam Bondi is acting like the president's lapdog. If you remember in February of this year, she came out with the Epstein binders, and they invited influencers to the White House, and they paraded these binders that were full of nothing. And then close to that time, she said, I've got the Epstein file on my desk, and I'm going to release it. Everyone be patient. We're looking through it. And we've got nothing. Then we've got Donald Trump saying it's an Epstein hoax. Everybody look away. There's nothing here. Now he's ordered the Department of Justice to investigate something that he's called a hoax and doesn't exist. So when does this stop? It's like Alice in Wonderland here. And it's going after people, but now it's on steroids because his name is showing up in these emails. It was unsavory the other day. I'm not saying he's guilty of wrongdoing. I'm not saying the email showed he's guilty of wrongdoing. But his connections to Epstein, as shown in those emails, according to Epstein, is unsavory, and it's not good.
Is that new information that he knew Jeffrey Epstein? Is it new information that Trump excommunicated him from Mar-a-Lago? Is it the only new information that we got this week off those emails was that somebody from the New York Times was advising Jeffrey Epstein, and we learned tonight from the Washington Post that Jeffrey Epstein was programming Democratic members of Congress. We didn't learn anything we didn't already know about Donald Trump, which was Jeffrey Epstein hated Donald Trump, and now Democrats are aligning themselves with Jeffrey Epstein because Orange Man bad.
Did you read those 3 emails? They are really bad looking.
They are
optics
not.
Are terrible.
Not.
Oh, my God. Okay, they're putting Trump with one of the victims in Jeffrey Epstein's house.
Pause it here. We're going to kick this.
What we just heard from Betsy McCoy is exactly the kind of argument that powerful men use to escape consequences for their crimes. She says she never saw Donald Trump behave inappropriately when they were out socially 30, 40 years ago. Abusers don't show their behavior to their friends and their colleagues. They hide it from them. So Betsy's argument is insulting to the more than 25 women who have come forward with credible accusations of such abuse. It's like saying, I had dinner with Harvey Weinstein and he was polite to the waiter, he was polite to me, so I guess all those actresses must be lying. That's not how abuse works. They do it when they have leverage. They do it when they have power. when the victims have something to lose by speaking out. And again, we are not talking about one accusation. We are talking about more than 25 women across decades, women from all different parts of Donald Trump's life, all describing variations of a similar pattern. We're talking about a jury that concluded that Donald Trump abused E. Jean Carroll, guilty with evidence. So again, Betsy McCoy's memory of double dates doesn't erase any of that. It doesn't outweigh sworn testimony, and it doesn't outweigh the courage of women who risked their reputations and their safety to come forward. Betsy's personal comfort around Donald Trump is completely irrelevant, and shame on her for defending him. Release the files. Let it all come out. Let the chips fall where they may. I don't blame Betsy here, but come on, anyone defending this man at this point is attaching themselves to a sinking ship. If you made it this far, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video if you're into that kind of thing so more people can see what's actually happening here on the record. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers so my dad can be proud of me.